Welcome to the Salt and Light Serve Spotlight, brought to you by itsonlyhomeschooling.com, a website devoted to advocacy, community, and resources for homeschooling children with learning differences. In this podcast series, we highlight those who embody a servant's heart, individuals and organizations who are changing lives one act of service at a time. Hello everyone, and welcome to our show. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of one. I am also an advocate for homeschooling children with learning differences. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at itsonlyhomeschooling.com. Parenting with Purpose. It's summer here at It's Only Homeschooling. Whether it's neighborhood barbecues, pool time with friends, indoor playdates at trampoline parks when we need to beat the triple-digit heat, summer camps, or vacation Bible school, we know how to have fun in this house. From the fireworks, flags, and fanfare commemorating the birth of our nation on July 4th, to ongoing neurodiversity awareness with National Parenting Gifted Children Week, July 16th through 22nd, to our commitment as being a contributing member of the greatest parent village with National Make a Difference for Children Month, we celebrate all month long. Of all of the joyous occasions we are humbled to honor, there is one that is particularly special: Purposeful Parenting Month. Shepherding our children. It is my firm belief there is no greater purpose as a parent than to shepherd the minds and hearts of our children. Kimberly Bennett, IOH Mom. The heart is the wellspring of life. In order to adequately teach our children, we must first pursue a relationship with our children. After all, we were created for relationship with our Heavenly Father and with one another. Without this connection, we fail to not only fully comprehend the glory of our Creator, but also the purpose for which we were created. In honor of Purposeful Parenting Month this July, It's Only Homeschooling is proud to feature a homeschool mom on a mission to help families grow in their relationship with one another and with Christ, while having fun along the way. IOH is proud to honor this month Katie J. Trent. Missions begin at home. Don't get me wrong, I firmly advocate for making service a healthy habit in one's home. So strong is my belief in the importance of encouraging outreach and volunteerism that I started this podcast, the Salt and Light Serve Spotlight. Yet, you do not need to travel the world to find a mission field. You have one in your home. Whether lounging in your living room, dining at your kitchen table, folding endless piles of laundry on your couch, splashing with toy boats at bath time, settling sibling squabbles, or praying at your child's bedside, endless opportunities abound within the walls of your own home to disciple your children. Startling statistics. Through some powerful conversations with a few fellow homeschool moms, such as Living with Eve's Leilani Melendez, and more recently, with the lady we're going to speak to today, Katie J. Trent, I have never been more resolved in my true calling as a homeschool mom of faith. These numbers are more than just disheartening. They're sobering. Research indicates 70 to 88% of children raised in Christian homes who regularly attend church still leave the faith by early adulthood, and an alarming percentage never return to their faith. One of the primary reasons youth abandon the Christian faith is because they never personally owned their faith. 35 to 42 million youths raised in Christian homes will depart from their faith over the next 30 years. Data taken from katieJtrent.com, Family Faith Building Academy. Listeners, I don't know about you, but hearing these findings was like plunging my head into a bucket of ice water. Beyond the proverbial wake-up call, this is a call to action. Faith in action. So, what is a parent to do when faced with this sort of daunting data? Bottom line, we know we need to do something, but what? Or better yet, how? How do loving parents approach the discipleship of their children? How do loving parents grow in their relationship with the Lord as a family? How do loving parents cultivate connection? How do loving parents learn how to put in the work of shepherding their children while also resting in the shelter of the Lord's promises? Where do we begin? Today, we chat with Katie, the founder of Family Faith Building Academy. Let's listen as she answers these questions, shares her personal struggles and victories, and reminds us, no matter what we are going through in this life, we are not meant to take this journey alone. Let's listen. Well, good morning. Today I have with me back in studio Katie J. Trent. Katie is a homeschool mom of two. She is also a best-selling author of Dishing Up Devotions, 36 faith-building activities, for homeschool families, and recipes for a sweet child, creative Bible-based activities to help your family thrive. If you remember Katie, she was just with us for our Shelf Indulgence book chats, where we were learning all about the wonderful devotions and the wonderful recipes and how we can help disciple our children in our home through her Recipes for a Sweet Child devotional that is coming out in August. So we talked with Katie about all exciting things that she has going on in that book. And today we are excited to feature her for our Salt and Light Serve Spotlight for July. Today we're going to talk with Katie about her Family Faith Building Academy and community. Family Faith Building Academy is an 8-week digital discipleship course for Christian parents. Family Faith Building Community is a vibrant virtual community for Christian moms. Welcome back, Katie.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to have you with us. Tell us all about what Family Faith Building Academy is.
Family Faith Building Academy is an 8-week digital discipleship course that's really meant to help equip parents. I encounter a lot of parents that say, I don't really, everybody says I should disciple my kids, but I don't know how, or it's not working out the way I hoped it would. And so this is my attempt to take all of the knowledge and skills and resources that I've gained over the years and make a very practical step-by-step guide to lead you into everything you need to disciple your kids from today all the way into their adulthood. And so it's broken down into 6 modules with very simple, short, quick lessons and over 500 pages of digital resources and templates and guides to help you and to make your faith come alive. So very fun and practical ways to engage your kids every step of the way.
That sounds pretty amazing. And now, is Family Faith Building Academy, is it applicable to kids of all ages? So can you do this with your toddler? Can you do this with your teenager?
Yep, absolutely. So we've got people who've gone through the course that they've got babies, and we've got people who they're in their senior year, and they're about to launch their first child into the world. And so it's designed for whatever stage of discipleship you're in. And it's really set up to help equip and disciple you based on your beliefs. And so there's not one denomination or type of thing. If you're a Christian, Bible believing, Jesus loving, you're going to love it. The first module actually takes you through helping you to define what you believe and why so that you can teach it to your kids. And so we provide you with the resources you need to really think out and create an effective discipleship strategy so that you're not just kind of going here and there and everywhere and trying to do it without really thinking it through.
So the work is done for you. It's open and go, or click and go.
Yes, well, you'll have to do some work, right? Because you'll have to sit down
Right.
and kind of fill it out and think. You'll get a
Mm-hmm.
chance to
Mm-hmm.
share your own faith journey with your kids, but we walk you through.
Yes.
I would say it's a hand-holding journey. So we walk you through step by step by step.
Yeah, sorry, I was meaning you didn't have to compile the resources. The resources are there. You still have to do the work, as with anything in any spiritual journey or parenting journey. It is work, but it is work that is worth it.
Yes, absolutely. And we've compiled for you too. Each of the modules has a resource guide so that if
Okay.
you want to do other things or you're looking for more, there's additional resources that we recommend and can help you with each of those steps and focuses. So we try to do everything we can to make it easy for you.
So, Katie, you have a background in a helping field. You're a licensed clinical social worker, and you also have a background in ministry. Tell us a little bit about your story. What led you to this point where you are now in ministry and discipleship?
Yeah, as far back as I can remember, I always wondered, like, is God real? And if he is, like, where is truth? Because my parents both came out of very different religious backgrounds and they did not care for each other's religions. Neither of them were practicing at the time. But so it just created in me kind of this wonder of, like, where is truth? And I've always sought that out. Like, what is truth? And I met my husband in college, and actually, he brought me to a pastor where I gave my life to the Lord. He had grown up in a household where his dad had previously been a pastor, but had fallen away, and there was a lot of religion, but no relationship. So he was in rebellion, alcohol and all sorts of stuff when we met in college. And he ran from God for still a couple more years. So we were married about a year and a half before God finally got a hold of him and he surrendered his life to Jesus. So in 2007, we started going to a wonderful church and we had pastors who just took us under their wings and began to disciple us and pretty immediately threw us into ministry. They saw the call of God on our life and they began to disciple us. So my husband was leading a Bible study fresh off the streets when he had only read, a couple chapters of Matthew. And so that just kind of, we were always on this accelerated path with our faith of that. And I think that's really where all of this, when I look back, came from, because in that season where I was new in my faith and I was hungry and I was reading the word and just trying to understand it all without having somebody tell me like what it should mean or what it should be, just reading it at face value, and seeing these teens who were struggling and not knowing how to
Mm-hmm.
help them, right? Like there was just, their parents were overwhelmed, they were overwhelmed, and it was like there wasn't a clear path to help them. And so starting with that and then going into counseling and seeing all sorts of families struggling, and at that time feeling more restrained because in our helping field there were limits of what we could do. I wasn't working for a Christian agency. I couldn't just share my faith,
Mm,
in the way that I would have liked to.
yes.
So at the same time I was doing counseling, we were doing ministry. We ended up, my husband was a youth pastor, and then we did young adults ministry, leading up to where we ended up planting several churches, doing missions. So ministry has been our life pretty much since we were saved. And it was through that journey of seeing that now thousands of families that we've worked with, just seeing the struggles of parents, and then of course becoming a parent myself and walking through this
Mm,
journey with my kids. If you read the statistics, as many as 2 out of 3 kids are leaving the Christian faith, even if they're going
yes.
to church and raised in Christian homes. And so I just saw this over and over again. And I counseled lots of people who had left the faith and they were coming back. And so we were trying to help them walk that out, where God just put this burden in my heart that something is missing. We're doing it
Mm,
wrong, right? So many generations where we're
mhm.
seeing so many kids leave the faith, we're not doing it right because the gospel is good news, right? So
Yes, it
what
is.
what are,
Yes, it
it's not
is.
on God, it's on us. What are we as the church doing wrong
Mhm.
that is leading our kids away from him instead of to him? And so that began really over the last 5 years, a journey through homeschooling and writing books and beginning to create resources for parents, that I felt this burden of, we've got to have something more effective for parents. And that was really what led me to creating Family Faith Building Academy, is saying we need something that makes it easy for parents, that makes it easy for pastors to be able to equip these kids. And we see it now more than ever, right? I mean, we have
Oh,
like the most
yes.
unchurched generation that we've ever
Oh,
encountered,
yes.
and they want nothing to do with the church that they have been taught about. And so that's why,
Mm,
some people think, like, what do you mean put the fun back in the fundamentals of family discipleship? If we're not showing them that the Jesus that we're following is fun and amazing and wonderful, and that life with God is an adventure, then we're missing the boat, and our kids don't want anything to do with that. And so when we can show them that walking out our faith and seeing lives transformed is phenomenal and there's no better way to live our life, they want a part of that. So even though my kids are younger right now, they're almost 8 and 10, they love Jesus with all their heart. They're praying for people, they're seeing miracles, they're walking out their faith in very tangible ways, because we've connected the fun and the faith and we've made it meaningful and memorable. So no matter what, people can always argue with what we know, right? We can debate theology all day long. Even Christians don't agree, right? So that can be
they
debated, but
don't.
nobody can take away our experience, our personal testimony. So when we can give our kids those experiences and they can say, no, I saw and I experienced and I've lived this out, then that faith can't be shaken no matter what the world throws at them. And so
Mhm.
that's really the heart and desire behind Family Faith Building Academy and community.
Well, you're helping teach other parents how to speak their child's language. It's really a love language and a love letter to families.
Absolutely. And discovering that God is in everything. And that's really helping you
Mhm.
to see, when we're looking at the sunset, or we're helping out a dog, or we're serving our neighbor, or whatever we're doing, that we can't turn off our faith, that God is
Mm-mm.
everywhere and in everything. And when we start to see him in everything, that's where there's no shaking our faith, because you can't escape it. We're not Sunday Christians. We're not, doing these
Right.
things. It's not these rituals, but it's really who we are in the world that we live in. And so I think that's an important part of helping our kids to discover the beauty that is the gospel.
Yes, it's actually teaching them, and especially right now is what's going on with confusion with identity. You're teaching them it's not who you are, but it's whose you are. That's where your identity comes from.
Absolutely. And when they know that, then it doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter if truth has become this abstract concept, because for them it's very concrete. And that's what this discipleship course does, is it teaches you how to make all those big abstract concepts very concrete, very applicable, very tangible, so that they see the Bible has a solution for every problem they face.
Yes, it always goes back to the word, and I keep thinking of Romans 12 too. And as the way we say in our we are I am teaching my child to live in this world but not be of this world. And that is so hard, and it's an ongoing lesson, but it's one that we have to teach diligently.
Absolutely. That was one of the first things that I did in my Dishing Up Devotions book. It's called Being Set Apart.
Mhm.
And we talk about, what does it really
Yes.
mean to live set apart? And in that example, I use cookies and what happens when you put two
Mhm.
cookies together on the tray. That lesson
Mhm.
is something I did with my kids when they were younger, and they still talk about it, because go ahead and
Mhm.
make two cookies and see what happens. My lovely son was like, it's a butt. And so his joke is like, we don't want to be a butt. We
Right.
want to live set apart, but it's stuck, right? So when we can do
There
things
you
that they
go.
remember and they're having fun and they're making those connections, then it sticks and you can't get rid of it.
And that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. And that's the fun.
Absolutely. Who wants a boring life, right? When people
No.
realize that the fun is actually had within our faith and not apart from our faith, that's where they're okay with being set apart. They're okay with being rejected by the world because what they have is so much better. The peace and the joy and the freedom that they experience, that is not worth what the world has. It's so much more valuable.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you for sharing in your testimony and in your personal experience of how, and it happens to a lot of us, where something has happened in our life where we have been hurt by other Christians or we've been hurt by someone in the faith, and we take a step back away from it. Luckily, God always chases us. But what if you have a family or a parent that is interested in returning back to the faith or interested in your program, but they're a little well, they're hurt, they're burdened, they've been burned somewhere somehow along the way. What would you say to those families who are wanting to dip their toe back in that pond of faith? How can Family Faith Building Academy help them?
First, I want to say that you're not alone, that we all have been hurt. If you have been in a church community, you have experienced hurt on some level. And I can tell you, with our family having been pastors and church planners, we have been betrayed by so many people. We've experienced all of those hurts. And so just know that you're not alone. And even Jesus, he was betrayed by Judas, but without Judas, we wouldn't have the redemption story that we have. And God wants to redeem your story. So where you're at right now listening to this, I know that God is speaking to you and wanting to get a hold of you and say that you cannot judge him based on the actions of a fallen person. And so Family Faith Building Academy is a great place to start because it's not requiring you to dive right back into community, which can feel scary and overwhelming. It's saying, you know what, you can start in your home right where you're at, and we'll give you the tools that you need to walk alongside of you to help you to build a faith as a family again and create a foundation that works. And we talk about even how to find the right church, so you have that. And then we also have our family faith building community. If you're saying, you know what, I'm scared, Katie, I'm scared to put myself out there again, then our online community might be exactly what you've been praying for, because it's a safe place for you to go and be loved on without judgment and be able to ask
Mhm.
questions in a safe way where you're not going to, experience the kind of pain that you might have experienced in a church community. So it's just other mamas that are saying, you know what, we want to disciple our kids too, and we want the support and the help in very simple ways. So I would love for you to come and join our community and just see if that's not something that would help motivate you and encourage you back on that path. So we offer a free month, so you can come in, no obligation, no payment. Just come in the community and let us love on you and encourage you and support you right where you're at.
Meet them where they are. Yes. Oh, I love that because it's so true. Be sure to join us on Wednesday, July 26th for part 2 of our interview with Katie, where we learn more about her Family Faith Building Academy. Listen in as Katie shares with us what it's like to go through the modules and some of the fun activities that are involved. Love to read? Wish you could glean some advice from seasoned homeschool moms? Check out the newest series sponsored by It's Only Homeschooling, Shelf Indulgence Book Chats. Each month, we select a book from an author with seasoned experience in the world of homeschooling. Know of an amazing human working to make their community a better place? Reach out and let us know. We would love to feature them on one of our shows. With the It's Only Homeschooling podcast, we invite your family to join ours for life lessons beyond the classroom. Through our Salt and Light Serve Spotlight series, we hope to inspire others to answer the call of service. We hope you'll make us one of your regular stops along the way in your homeschool adventures. Remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Until we meet again, take a deep breath and relax. It's only homeschooling.
Who will keep you safe? Little one walking